Yo, what's good? What it do is Coach J with a lot to say, aka Uncle Pops with the raw truth for the youth, and definitely you grown folks. Hashtag DBWT. Don't be wasted talent. The podcast. So we are back with another episode getting into our series on mindset. And before we get started, I want to say welcome to new listeners who are tuning in for the first time. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you from the bottom of my heart and the deepest depths of my soul to my loyal listeners. Keep spreading the message and invite others. Keep spreading the message and the movement about hashtag DBWT. Don't be wasted talent. I also want to extend an invitation to anyone who is interested in becoming a brand ambassador for hashtag DBWT. If you are interested or would like to know more about brand ambassadorship with Don't Be Wasted Talent, send me a message. Send me a DM on social media or send me an email. Get at me. All right. All right. Today's episode, we're going to ask a question. Can you change your mindset? Can you change your mindset? I put together some notes and things and, that I hope can really get the message across and bring some value and impact your life in the best way possible. And when we ask, can we change our mindset? We know that beliefs can be changed when they no longer serve you or enable you to get to your goals. And although mindsets can change, this only happens very slowly. This is especially true if you have long-held beliefs about something. For instance, if you have been told that eating an apple a day is good for you, you may find it difficult to believe if someone told you otherwise. And even though that fixed mindset has become easy to form, you have to understand that it is resistant to change. Take the example of a stake holding a tent in its place in the ground. Although it can be moved once it has been placed, you are reluctant to move it unless there is a good reason to do so. So once you have formed a mindset about something, it conditions your future opinion about that thing. For instance, if you consider an upcoming event that's going to be boring because the last one of the same kind was actually boring, you may not want to go at all. Right? However, if you do go and find it to be not boring at all, it may take you some time to change your mindset about it. If that makes sense. An individual with a fixed mindset is more keen in looking smart than to fail when learning new things. They will do everything they can to avoid embarrassment and ignore what they truly lack. In other words, they become fearful of looking stupid. I testify. That was me. That was me many a times. And I'm pretty sure somebody else has gone through that as well. And this in itself is an inhibiting factor. It's not a prohibit, it's an inhibiting factor. It's a possibility that this stems from a feeling of rejection or ridicule from where? Childhood experiences or events that are stored in your unconscious mind that you may not have remembered consciously. Does that make sense? The result of this unconscious fear, your fixed mindset avoids trying new things and resists learning, and it stalls your development and may even make you act lazy. That's dangerous. To resist learning which leads to a stalled development. But an unconscious fear, creating that fixed mindset, you're going to avoid trying new things, which in turn, as the end result, and I'm not saying that this is an absolute, but as an end result, you may even act lazy. To counter this effectively and change your mindset, you need to become aware of the fear driving your behavior, and then realize that this fear has no basis in your present reality. You need to overcome it and let it go. Seriously. As an example, let's say students with a fixed mindset view their intelligence level as unchanging. Their prime concern remains to prove that they are what? Smart. Or hiding that they're not, which in most cases, that's what it is. They tend to avoid situations where they might fail. You've seen it and you've experienced it. I'm pretty sure of it. These students, they don't recover well from setbacks and only prefer engaging in tasks that they can already do well. I'm pretty sure you see that with today's generation. I definitely do. The same also reflects in others as well with this mindset. And once you think about these people, you don't got to say their names or anything, but just think about it and they'll come to mind. Others with this mindset where they limit themselves and sabotage their efforts. And I'm pretty sure some people came to mind. Me, myself, in the past, had I heard this or someone saying this on a show or podcast or video or something, I would have been the first thing to think about. That was me. That was me. Very stubborn in my thinking. But you can use actions to change your mindset. You really can. An approach to changing mindsets is through actions. And when we say actions, we're talking about skills and talents, right? Skills and talents, that get developed through repetition, consistency, right? Performing something consistently. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. Everybody that's Allen Iverson fans, y'all know what I'm talking about. But getting back to the actions and changing the mindset, the key to changing a fixed mindset is identifying and refuting the fixed mindset voice and taking growth-oriented action repeatedly. Identifying and refuting the fixed mindset voice and taking growth-oriented action repeatedly. It's not something that just happens overnight. It's not a microwave thing. You can develop new skills through deliberate and repeated practice. That's why you practice. That's why football in the sport, you practice. Basketball, you practice, right? Tennis, you practice. All your sports, everything to prepare you for competition. What are you doing? You're practicing. Same thing with life. Everyday things that you do in your earlier years, or you've done in your earlier years, are preparing you, because that is the practice for you to become one of the greatest adults that we know. You're developing new skills through deliberate and repeated practice, chores, things like that, developing a work ethic. And for every new skill that you develop, your fixed mindset voice, it begins to weaken. It begins to weaken. It's not as strong. It's not dominant. It's not loud in your head. Mindsets They get formed through previous experiences. So that's why when you come to, new things and new situations in your life, you would want to change your mindset because the old beliefs, the previous experiences have created a mindset that may no longer serve your purpose right now or is conducive to your future. Because mindsets are formed through previous experiences and emotional milestones. And when these mindsets do not deliver the results you expected, they become counter mindsets. And this results in producing feelings of self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and other negative thoughts that get in the way of progress. For the most part, these negative thoughts occur so often that you may not even be aware of them. Let's be for real. Because they happen so often, you've accepted them as a norm, and you really may not be even be aware of them. And think about the voice, right, in your head, positive or negative. Let's think about that. When you hear it, it's a nudging voice which makes, when it's negative, it makes disparaging comments when you look in the mirror. It's the same voice which makes you unhappy with the way you look, makes you hesitant when approaching someone new to discuss something or ask a question or even to introduce yourself, networking, or even, when you want to consider a huge change in your life, like your job, your career, or a different direction of education. That disparaging voice is active. And we gotta silence it. Everyone experiences negative thoughts. Everyone does. Even the people that you call celebrities or you celebrate, the people that you love and you follow and you adore and all that, they experience negative thoughts or counter mindsets to a different degree. And the damage is collateral. Because it allows you to habitually destroy your dreams and makes it very hard to remain positive. And the only things that remain are nasty reminders like, I can't talk to him or I can't talk to her. I'm not smart enough for this or that. I'm not qualified enough, or I'm so out of shape and this and that and so forth and so on. But to change your mindset, you need to pay attention to when this voice gets raised and how often it happens. This will allow you to pinpoint the triggers of your counter mindset and narrow it down to a few things, a few key things. And once you narrow it down and get those few key things, you start shifting your gears. You're shifting gears from the negative to the positive. Shifting gears from the negative to the positive. Once you've established your negative thoughts, once you've established that they're negative thoughts, you need to prevent them from holding you back. Whenever a negative thought surfaces, counter it by giving an instant yet positive reaction. What does that mean? Say you want to do something healthy. You want to go for a walk after dinner and get more exercise. But the problem is that once dinner is over, you start hearing that voice, that disparaging voice, that you're too tired, too full, or that it's too late to go now. And what do we say? Countering it by giving an instant yet positive reaction, which would be what? Put a stop to that thinking pattern right away by getting up and going on your walk. Put on your shoes if you don't have them on already and go for that walk. You will find that often just taking that first step is enough to turn off that nasty voice in your head. Trust me. Just by starting. Does that make sense? Because then you start the process of silencing the disparaging voice and empowering yourself to do what needs to be done when you need to do it and the best way you need to do it. That makes sense. I'll be picking up what I'm putting down. For real. Understanding what why you need to change your mindset is also an important factor. Because changing your mindset requires a lot of willpower and hard work, which is formed to make habits. And habits aren't easy to break. They can be. We think they are. We tell ourselves they are, but they're not easy to break. Seriously. When you're breaking a habit or trying to break a habit, it becomes more challenging since many of the bad or limiting habits got formed when you were either little or you were going through something for quite a while, for X amount of years. And same thing, was happening over and over, or you just, you didn't understand how to deal with it, or you were just in a bad headspace, or your spirit was broken. You were weak. But understanding why you need to change a habit or mindset for that matter, it makes everything in your life more meaningful. Here are two things that should come in handy, right? Whenever you're trying to do something, is motivation and willpower. First, you'll need to rely on motivation to get you through changing habits. And while the why will provide you with motivation, it can be hard to maintain in the long run because this is where willpower should step in and keep you going. However, willpower can run out fairly quickly too. Think about trying to eat healthier and then because I'm bringing up the example because this happened not too long ago. Trying to do right and stay on track and everything. And then what happens? You run into that your dealer, your plug, Girl Scout cookies. Right? Or you got some Girl Scout cookies sitting around in your kitchen or whatever, or somebody done brought some Girl Scout cookies into work in the break room and is sitting next to, a fruit bowl at work. Or you got, is sitting next to, you took out some grapes or some strawberries to eat and you unconsciously put them next to the Girl Scout cookies that was sitting on the counter or above the cabinet. You open up the cabinet to get something else and bing, you saw them Girl Scout cookies. Right? Maybe you could get your willpower together and resist the cookies. I mean, you should, but maybe it's still a maybe because it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. Right? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But you got to understand that your willpower can run out pretty quickly, just as your motivation. So it's going to take some work. Keeping focus on the why. I know you've heard that quite often. You've heard that a lot. Keep focused on your why. It's tough. It's tough. Let's say you plan on going to the gym after work, but you need to stay behind for some reason. You got to do a little extra work. By the time you're done, you're not only tired, but you're out of willpower. Plus the fact that you weren't able to, stick to your original plan and resist them Girl Scout cookies or anything else. That really don't help. So the question is, do you end up going to the gym or straight home? Do you end up going to the gym or do you go straight home? You already know the answer because it happens to everyone and it has happened to you several times. Maybe not with these specific examples, but testing your willpower and your motivation. You know the outcome. You know the results. Because when you try to change your habits by relying on motivation and willpower alone, these might not be enough just by themselves to do it. And that's only, with certain things. There are some things that your motivation, your willpower, man, there's no problem, no issue to it. But you gotta understand and you gotta accept and realize that there are things that your willpower and your motivation is not enough. That's also why so many people, give up on changing their habits soon after they start, and because they're unable to follow through. It takes some work. It takes some serious effort. But what I say that instead, what you need to do is to become a little forgiving and allow yourself some space to stumble. Don't not too much. So where you can justify all the mistakes and everything like that and justify setbacks and failures or whatever, but just be forgiving to yourself and allow yourself some space to stumble. A fixed mindset leaves no allowance for mistakes. And that leaves you emotionally drained and hesitant to try anything new or do anything new, even when it seems like it's the best thing to do. Start small to finish big. For real. For real. Because one of the best ways to change mindsets is to start small towards big goals. Trying to become healthy, wealthy, or wise, along with more compassionate, calmer, and successful, is never easy. Never easy. Once again, you need to fight all your demons embedded in your mindset from those early years. So if you find yourself stressed most of the time, try to meditate for 2 minutes every night before sitting in a lotus position for a straight half hour and you still got a racing mind. For those that want to do yoga and meditate and everything, start out small. And if you'd like to become, more physically fit, and get yourself back into shape or just to improve your physical health as well as, your mental health and overall, you want to start with something as small as maybe one push-up. One push-up a day, one push-up every hour. So just something small. Build your strength up along with your mindset before you get to an impressive set of I'm going to knock out 25 to 50 and, start small, especially if it's something that you haven't been doing in a long time. And then you need to decide on your tiny goal and pursue it with positive mindset energy. Because oftentimes you may find that you actually do more than what you aim for. And it will feel great as you begin to overachieve. But don't start off overachieving. That's not a good thing. On other days, you may only achieve the minimum, but still feel good since you met the goal. Set the goal. Set the goal, meet the goal. Because many people think that it's pointless to start so small, but consistently hit small goals successfully can help form new mindset habits. So I'm looking at the time and I see we didn't hit a 25-minute mark. I'm so sorry that we have gone this long. But anyway, I do hope that I have helped increase and impact and value in your life with something I've said today. All right. All right. We're going to go ahead and close out this episode. And again, before we do, I want to say thank you to my loyal listeners. I want to say welcome to any new listeners. And I want to extend an invitation to be a brand ambassador. Yo, it's Coach Jay with a lot to say, aka Uncle Pops with the raw truth for the youth and definitely you grown folks. Hashtag DBWT. Don't be wasted talent. The podcast. Y'all stay up, stay blessed. Peace.